presented by Dunn King Productions. WBA supervisor is Alberto Sarmiento. The judges are Eva Shane from Fort Lee, New Jersey, Denny Nelson from St. Paul, Minnesota, and Robert Watson from Redford, Michigan. Timekeeper Arthur Spell, and your referee is Tony Perez. Introducing the challenger in the red corner, fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, weighing 153 pounds, with a professional record of 33-10-1, with 25 KOs, the WBA #1 ranked contender and the former IBF junior middleweight champion of the world, Buster the Demon Drayton. And the champion in the blue corner, fighting out of St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands, weighing 153 pounds, with a record of 34-1, 32 by KO. Ladies and gentlemen, the WBA junior middleweight champion of the world, Julian Jackson. 12 rounds.
Julian Jackson from the Virgin Islands, city of St. Thomas, and Buster Drayton from nearby Philadelphia, the combatants, and the referee Tony Perez will bring them to the center of the ring for final instructions. Perez now living in Barnegat, New Jersey. The judges are Eva Shane from Lodi, New Jersey, Denny Nelson from Redford, Michigan, Robert Watson from Maplewood, Minnesota. Quick look at the tail of the tape. 35-year-old Buster Drayton. Age could be a factor in any fight for Drayton. So far, it has not affected his performance. He came in at 153. Jackson likewise at 153, and you can see a 1-inch height advantage to the champion Jackson. And a wild right-hand opener from the champion Jackson, going for the home run ball on his first punch, but Drayton ready for it. Champion Jackson in gold, Buster Drayton in black trunks with red trim. No question that Drayton's been in there with the tougher guys. He's lost to some of them, but he does have victories over the likes of Wayne Thomas, Clint Jackson, Mark Kaler, and Davey Moore. Whereas for Jackson, as we mentioned, really the only semi-name fighter that he has a victory over is Curtis Ramsey. In his biggest fight, he lost to Mike McCallum, trying for the same title when McCallum was the champion. Good body shot from Jackson, banging with the right hand to the midsection. And again,
Tim, Jackson fights strictly by the book. Does everything exactly the way he's supposed to. Drayton fights by his own book, I guess you'd call it. He's liable to do anything in there.
Well, we know that in the loss to Matthew Hilton, when he lost his IBF title to the Canadian, 15 rounds of grueling action, he took a lot of punishment, and he went the distance. So he's a guy who can take a lot of shots, but for how long and the effect over his long career, hard to say. That's part of the mystery of this bout.
Well, he's been down early a couple of times in previous fights, Tim. That's why it's so important to watch these first 2 rounds.
Jackson has had the better of this first round so far.
He's feeding those body punches into Drayton. Pretty good.
Drayton finally landed one of his own, a good shot to the side of Jackson. And he lands a left hook to the head. Jackson continuing to pound with both hands to the body. Under a minute to go, round number 1. Fortunately, in the last exchange, they both were taking them with the arms and elbows. Under the 30-second mark, under the 20 we go here in round 1. Final seconds of the first round. A hard-punching first round. We're into round 2, scheduled for 12. The WBA junior middleweight title at stake. The champion in gold, Julian Jackson, his first defense against the former IBF champion at this weight, Buster Drayton.
Tim, you know, this fight may boil down to not who's the better pitcher, but who's the better catcher.
They have held nothing back so far in that first round. Heavy punching by both boxers.
Jackson does everything by the book. Jab, double jab, goes to the body, goes back up to the head.
And Drayton does what he just did, leaping in
Right.
with one big bomb that nearly caught the chin.
Switches to southpaw. You never know which direction he's coming at you from.
Good work inside by the champion Jackson, snapping back the head of Drayton. Landed an overhand right to the back of the head of Drayton.
There you see.
There goes a right hand. Drayton down. Flash knockdown. Drayton, it looked to me, Gil, was actually pulling out at the moment he took the punch, so he was helping the impact.
He was off balance, Tim. He pulled back his left foot, which is a no-no. But again, Drayton does a lot of no-nos.
He got up smiling, but Jackson pressing the advantage now. And going to the body. Now up to the head. Drayton willing to trade. Looks a little wobbly leg. Standing there and pounding. Jackson trying to find an opening now.
Good looking fighter, Jackson, but he better not forget defense, Tim.
Uppercut to the point of the chin. Under a minute to go, round two. Drayton comes back with 3 shots of his own. Wild roundhouse punches, but he scored 3 of them.
Well, you have to be very, very careful when you're fighting Buster Drayton. Beautiful combination by Jackson.
Under the 30-second mark in round 2. Both fighters missing in that exchange. Now Drayton lands a left uppercut. More bomb throwing as we finish round number 2. Here's a look at that flash knockdown in round 2 scored by the champion Jackson. You saw the challenger Drayton backing up off balance, down he went. But at the end of that round, Gil, he looked like the stronger guy, and he was really looking right into Jackson's eyes and saying, hey, now I'm ready, you woke me up.
Tim, that's why when you fight Buster Drayton, you got to remember that he can always hit you back. The best thing to do is keep your hands up, box, try to put those rounds in the bank.
He couldn't wait to get off the stool to start round number 3. Drayton in black, the champion in gold, Julian Jackson from St. Thomas, the Virgin Islands, Drayton from Philadelphia. They've been throwing bombs from the opening bell.
That Jackson throws vicious punches to the body.
Jackson making his first title defense. Drayton has been in 4 world title bouts. 1986, he won the IBF crown from Carlos Santos, a tough 15 rounds, defended it twice, and then lost in 15 to Matthew Hilton.
There's one of those swings of Drayton that you have to be careful of, Tim. It air-conditioned the house, but if it landed, watch out. Come from any angle. Best thing to do when you're fighting a Buster Drayton. Keep popping that jab, double the jab. Keep your hands up at all times.
He tried a right-hand lead and paid for it, Gil, so he didn't hear your instruction. Drayton himself knows he's an unorthodox fighter. Doesn't bother him. He said that bothers the other guy. Under a minute to go, round 3. Heavy punch to the body by Jackson, the champion.
Jackson throws beautiful combinations, Tim. He sure does know how to punch to that body, which could bother a 35-year-old guy a lot.
Yeah. Under the 30-second mark we go. Tremendously grueling rounds these have been.
What punishment Drayton is taking, Tim.
Big round for Jackson here this last 30 seconds particularly.
And Drayton is still firing back.
Oh, a big left hand. Oh, a tremendous left hand.
Hook, Tim.
Drayton
Right
dropped
on
like
the
a tree. Drayton dropped like a tree. And he is not going to make it up. That's all over. He's trying desperately. Buster Drayton gamely trying to get up with a huge left hand for Julian Jackson. A third-round knockout in his first defense of the WBA junior middleweight crown.
And Tim, what an exciting fighter this Julian Jackson is. He lets it all hang out. Those beautiful combinations.
Again, Buster Drayton tried to get up from that. You don't too often see a boxer knocked down the way he was. It looked like somebody had just felled a huge, giant redwood tree.
Well, Tim, all those body shots took care of the body shots, then that big left hook to the chin.
There you see Drayton saying, hey, I'm all right. Let's go back and see it again. A straight, good, solid left hook.
Now Jackson is pointing at the canvas, say, okay, good night.
There it is. Look at the fall.
And look at Jackson's right hand, Tim, telling him where to fall.
Fortunately for Buster Drayton, and I watched very carefully from our eye level of ringside, it may have appeared that he banged his head on the ring, but actually he did not. He instinctively lifted his head, took the impact with his shoulders, and so apparently he is all right, and we certainly hope so. We'll be back live in Atlantic City in a moment. We are back in Atlantic City, where Julian Jackson has scored a stunning third-round knockout victory over Buster Drayton. Let's go to Marvin Goldberg.
The time, 2 minutes and 57 seconds of the third round. The winner and still the WBA junior middleweight champion of the world, Julian Jackson.
All right, we're with the champion, Julian Jackson, and who's your supporter here?
This is my little son, Julian Jackson Jr.
All right, Julian Jackson Jr.
All the way from the Virgin Islands.
I don't think he knows exactly what happened, but he knows something good happened here today for Daddy. Julian, a big thing with you was recognizing the fact that as a champion, you weren't really very well known. You haven't had a lot of exposure on national television, and your only real name opponent prior to this one was Mike McCallum. Did that bother you, and did you want to really be impressive today?
Oh, yes, man. It didn't bother me, but I knew I had to be impressive today. I knew that Buster Drayton was a strong opponent, and I trained very hard for this guy. I didn't take him for granted. I wanted to know I love him, and we are brothers in Jesus' name, man.
Come on in here, Buster. Come on in here.
All right.
Buster, I'm glad you're all right. You really went down like a tree, I said, but I noticed that you didn't bang your head. You instinctively got your head up. You had a flash knockdown earlier in the fight. What happened on the big left hook? Let's take a look at the knockdown.
I don't know. Well, I knew he'd like to throw the left hook, but I was so relaxed, you know, like with Matthew Hooks, you know. I got a habit of being relaxed, you know. Hey, but you know what I like to say? I like to tell all the little kids that don't be disappointed at me because I gave them all in all. Hey, look.
Well, here's the knockout punch. Julian, that was a good, clean left hook.
Yes, we know that Buster Drayton was looking for the right hand, and a lot of fighters don't know that I have power in both hands.
Well, Buster knows it now, but he's already shown what a great sport he is. To have you two guys here together, well, it's always a good example of boxing sportsmanship.
I got no excuses or nothing like that there. The man got me, you know, just like if I would have caught him, you know, it would have been the same thing, no excuse.
Well, you nearly did, too. Thanks, Buster. Julian Jackson.
Before I go, you know, I'd like to say hi to all my folks home, my friends in the Virgin Island, both St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. I would like to meet the current champion, Donald Corey, or Matthew Hilton, any one of them. Van Horn, and bring all of them. Get in line because Julian Jackson is ready, and I'm ready to to put St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, St. Croix, St. John on the map.
I think maybe you just did, and I think there'll be a big welcome for you when you get home.
All right, thank you very much.
Julian Jackson, the world champion, WBA